Your Seenager, senior teenager. I call myself a millennial in spirit with the benefit of hindsight. And what I do is discuss one hot potato topic every week. And today, my guest is there right in front of you. This is Harshita Singh. Welcome,
Hi,
Harshita.
everyone. Thank you so much, Taiji.
And Harshita is a micro blogger. She's on Instagram a whole lot, and she's a disruptive millennial in that sense. By profession, she is an education mentor, and she's extremely fond of animals, cats, dogs, and she is quite taken up with their welfare. So she spends a lot of time looking after them. Harshita, I'm going to give you a couple of seconds. Tell us more about yourself. This is my introduction. Tell me about yourself and tell me about your relationship with Instagram. Let's start there.
All right. So if I have to introduce myself, I'd go with what my mom always told me. I'm a person who'll hop into everything possible just to understand how this world works. And somewhere that got me into Instagramming. So I started off my Instagram journey way back in 2014-15 when it was so new in India and not many people were on that platform. And my sole reason there was because I used to write blogs on WordPress and I wanted to expand my horizons. And that's how I also shared a snippet of my WordPress on Instagram. So I initially started off there, never thought I'll be where I am today, though there's still a long journey to go. But then, yeah, that's how I got associated with Instagram years ago.
All right. You're right there that it is a recent phenomena. Maybe it's took off in about 2010 and around that time, Harshita, I'm curious, how many Instagram accounts do you have? Is there only one? Do you have your other Insta, your Finsta? Or when you were younger, did you have?
Sorry, I think there's a little lag.
There's a lag? Okay.
Yeah, there was a little lag. Could you please repeat that for me?
Yes, I was saying that Instagram is a recent, it started around 2010, I think.
Yes.
And so what, did you start out with one account, Harshita? A lot of young people have one account on which they have their Taijis and Chachijis and Mamis and all of that. And then there's the other accounts, the Finsta. How many accounts did you have?
So I always had one account and that was not my personal account. In fact, my first account was the account I opened for my WordPress. And then I later on realized as Instagram grew, it turned out to be like a miniature Facebook. So more than picture sharing, it turned out to be social life sharing. And that's when I created another account, which was a personal account. And where I'd upload pictures of me, my family, my friends, or wherever I'm traveling, because I was not too comfortable sharing my pictures on my blog. I was very sure I do not want people to follow me on my blogger page because of my face or because I put up pictures of me, but I wanted them to follow me for the content I shared. Okay. So even till date, I do have a slot, like I do share a picture of me once in a while, but I don't want people to follow me because of my looks. I just want them to follow me for the content I share. So yes, I do have two accounts. One is a private account, which has everyone. There's no third account for relatives. My relatives are with me on that account. Okay. So yeah.
Right. So in your Instagram, I've seen your Instagram, there are a lot of pictures, your own pictures, and there's some inspirational, some whimsical content. What drives you? How do you select your content for your page, for your Instagram?
So, Taiji, this started with me when I read a book by an author called Priya Kumar. And her first book, I Am Another You, inspired me to understand the whole world is sharing a part of their life with me, and I am sharing a part of my life with them. Right. So if I'm talking about teenage issues, which I would have had, I'm sure at least out of those 10 issues, one issue you would also share with me. You know, like, okay, parents would not have allowed us to go out too often, or we would have had our own Cinderella timing to come back, which wouldn't have been 12 in the midnight. So yes. I realized all of us are connected somewhere. And all the more from there, I progressed further when I became an assistant professor, and I was interacting more with the kids who are about 5 to 6 years younger to me, or now probably 10 years younger to me. I realized they look up to youngsters like us to understand their mental health also.
Absolutely.
So what my students could not speak to their parents or their siblings, they would come up to me. And indirectly, they found the solutions on my Instagram. So last year, all the more in the pandemic, there was a request from all these young lot of very energetic teenagers that I have with me to share content which would indirectly help them out. I'm no professional, but just that feeling of making them realize that, yes, there are other people also going through the same thing. You're not alone is itself very comforting for them.
What you're saying, Harshita, what you're saying is that this sentiment is very important to young people, that they are not alone. I mean, not just young people, for people all ages.
Exactly.
This sense of being isolated or unheard or unseen, unacknowledged. And that is a need that these social media platforms are fulfilling. But when you're talking to young people who are maybe perhaps your students, your colleagues, your friends, do you guide them on the dangers that are lurking on Instagram? Because everything has pros and cons, right? So what do you tell them to watch out for? What are the dangers that you...
I have myself, thankfully not too much, but yes, I've had a massive issue of stalkers even when my pictures are not uploaded. So I have kind of told my students and all the young other students that I meet to be aware of stalking, especially on private accounts. Taiji, it's really surprising that even in a private account, see, you've kept it private for a reason. It's because you would not want someone else to see your pictures, or you not wanted to, get into your private life.
Right.
But the wanting for the follower count is so much in the kids that they are accepting every known, unknown person's request. So to start off, Instagram did not start with a personal account. It started with a platform where you could share your pictures, your photography skills, or something. It did not start off as a personal profile. But since you are treating it like one, the number one rule, if your account is private, please do not add unknown people there.
Okay.
Since there is a chance of you having a DM, check on them. Do you know them? Sometimes our relatives do have an account. We might not even recognize them, but we got to make sure. So that is very important. In this era, we have Facebook fake accounts. There are Instagram fake accounts. That is something I ask them to be aware of. Second thing that I tell them is, if there is a post you do not want anyone to see, please do not post it on Instagram.
Yes.
There are high chances of pictures being morphed. So please be careful about what you post. Though I have suggested this, some of my female students have not followed it, and they have got themselves into really, really tough situations. But it's always advisable to do so. And they need to understand putting a hashtag makes their post public. So they have to be very careful when using hashtags. A simple hashtag research would also help you out. Basically, what happens is some of these websites that have pornographic content.
Yes.
All right. Unfortunately, Instagram does not deal with this issue. They have pornographic content over there, and they use certain hashtags as the key. And unknowingly, the youngsters land up using the same hashtag.
Okay.
So I have always told them, browse the hashtag that you're putting in. Because today's language, you know how words which meant something as one meaning would mean 10 more. So if I say, oh, I'm sick. Okay, I'm sick. But in the new generation, oh, that's so sick, man. That means that's so good.
Absolutely.
Kind of words play a major role.
Yes.
So they kind of treat me as an old person telling them all this, but then these are like the basic rules. And I've always told them, please do not type in content on comments which you would not want to receive yourself. Avoid getting into these hate comments and everything, and be careful when commenting on public profiles, because someone can come to your profile via them. So yeah, these are just major things that I've told them to be careful of.
Right. But it's quite a task to be able to, what you're saying is not hashtagging, but the selection of the search words or the, right.
Yes.
That is
Yes.
important.
Yes.
And about these new terms, so right, Harshita, because today I was writing on how teenagers and Gen Z are posting their CVs on TikTok. And
oh, yes.
On TikTok, and that article talked to use this word inspo. And this is the first time that I was, hearing this word. I said, there's so much of vocabulary out there. Of course, urban dictionaries there, but so many new words that the young people use. And there is a real chance of some misinterpretation or misunderstanding happening. But suppose something like this happens with an Instagram grammar or an influencer. Are you aware, or where does a person go? What does one do? How responsive have you found Instagram to any complaints or any reporting of any objectionable issues?
I have found
this?
Instagram very supportive.
Okay.
Very honestly saying this because there were a lot of times that all these creep people kind of do send really creepy messages, maybe with a picture of their private part. And that's very embarrassing. And I see Instagram gives us an information to go ahead to block or to accept the message. Yes. And when I had initially kind of experienced this and had reported this to Instagram, and Instagram says, okay, we'll check through the account and the message. There were a number of times that Instagram could not come to my rescue. And luckily, the next day I would have found the account missing or something. So somehow I could not get in. I thankfully have not got myself into a very big situation. But a lot of girls who I spoke to at one of the conference about do's and don'ts on Instagram, they had shared that they had approached the cyber police for it.
Right.
So also when you go to cyber police, you need to understand that you need to give up your phone. So if someone is being harassed online, they keep your phone in custody. In fact, this also happened with a very famous influencer called Satisha. I will share that account with you. She had shared a complete series of a person stalking her down and how she had overcome it by approaching the cyber police. And she had to give up her phone, and how a complaint given cannot be taken back. So also if you're putting in a harassing complaint over here, I'm not sure under what section, under what law, I do not remember it clearly, but this complaint could not be taken back. But yes, they did help her find out the person who stalked her down, and that person did apologize. He was punished. So yes, cybercrime does come to the rescue, but sometimes Instagram does not.
Okay. So
I've already reported that as complaint. But let's see.
So what I'm hearing you say is that there is a recourse, but it comes with its own problems, its own issues, its own prices.
Yes.
Okay. How have you benefited, Harshita, from your Instagram activity?
I did not join Instagram to get a particular outcome. That's something what everyone is surprised. But what I have always been really happy about is that there would be some random person who would have come across my post, would not have had the courage to, comment on the post, but would have definitely DM'd me saying, Blogger Hershey, thank you for sharing this because I was having a very rough day and I really, really needed someone to tell this to me. So that is something that keeps me going because that fulfills my motive of I am just like you. And I'm here to let you know that we're all here in the same boat.
That sense of connection, the sense of connection.
Yes. And that sense of everyone feeling like, okay, they're not alone, that fulfills my motive of being on Instagram.
And how did you pick your handle? Hershey is short form for a sweet way of saying Harshita.
Yes. So I'm fond of eating chocolates, and me being a chocolatier myself.
Yeah, you make chocolates. Wow.
Yeah, so my friends kind of, they used to call me Hershey, Hershi, but since Hershey made its entry into India, they just completely changed it and turned it into Hershey.
Nice. It's very nice, catchy. Yes.
Yeah.
It brings a smile to your face immediately the minute you read it.
Yeah.
That's nice. Yes. So Harshita, like young people like you, younger, do they have a strategy when they're posting? Do you make a grid or how do you post on? It's just what you feel like. I feel like that day. Is there a particular time of the day when you post? Any such things that
Yes,
influences?
in fact, IG, there are a lot of things that people follow. I'm following a particular grid where it says one will be my picture, the next one will be a DIY or a book or something interesting that I would have clicked a picture of or made a video of. And the third will always be something related to mental health or something that would enrich your life.
Okay.
I would have read maybe a book by Robin Sharma and I would have liked something there and I want to share it with everyone.
Right.
So I have this grid that I follow. A lot of people do have a color scheme. A lot of people have this thing that I'm only going to go post pictures about myself, or it's only going to be reels. So the first thing I've seen everyone decide is what kind of content do they want to post, and they have their own niche.
Right.
Unfortunately, the younger generation is going in for the trends. I would call their niche following the trend. Yes. Because whatever new trend is coming in, they're just following that and they're getting more followers. There are few that are on dancers. There are few that are on tarot card readings. There are some on law of attraction. So everyone sets their own niche and prepares content for that niche. So I also follow this assistant professor. Sorry, in fact, she's a professor from Mika. Dr. Falguni. So I follow her because she has a lot of relatable content, and it's so good to see someone so older getting so well connected with the gen. So I really like the way she posts her content. And a lot of people, yes, do follow a timeline to post. It can be every day one post, one reel, and they do have time, okay, maybe between 6 to 8, because Instagram, the moment you go into content creator mode, it gives you these insights. Yes. Your followers are male, female, which area are they from, basically are they from, what is their age group. So that kind of makes a person understand what kind of content should they post. So a lot of people who are into very seriously blogging and taking it and want to become like, have the blue tick next to their name, they have picked up the genre of content that they want to have. So content strategy is definitely very important.
Very important. Two things, Harshita. I would really like to follow Dr. Falguni. She sounds like somebody whose work will interest me. Oh, and yes. That'll be nice. And the second thing is that well, some Instagrammers will probably be working towards becoming influencers because it can be monetized today and they're a marketing force to reckon with. Right. And there the number of followers becomes important. However, one also hears about how followers can be bought. Yes. And how does that work? Doesn't it take away from the credibility of the platform?
It does.
So what has your experience been with that?
This is a pretty new thing which had started about 3 to 4 years ago, where there are two ways how Instagrammers kind of increase their following. Number one, there was a loop group. Okay. So the group is where you are put into a particular group and you follow everyone in that group and you are supposed to like everyone's post, comment on everyone's post. Now, Instagram very nicely caught hold of this and we kind of know that. Second thing that is done is this hashtag called follow for follow. So if I follow for follow. Okay. So basically, if I follow you, you should follow me back. And the third thing is there are a lot of Instagram accounts that you will come across randomly, which who are basically willing to sell you followers. Oh. So these people make fake accounts. Yes. And they ask you how many followers do you need, and according to that they have a set rate card. Okay. So for basically if you want 500 followers, you give us $1,000, we'll give you 500 followers. Now, how do you differentiate? Being a viewer, one of my food blogger friend had taught me the trick to differentiate. Okay. So if you have, I have 2,400 followers around, kind of a thing, right? So anyone coming to my profile would see at the engagement on my post. Engagement can come in terms of comments and it can come in terms of likes. So they see in proportion to how many followers I have, how much engagement is there on my page.
Okay.
So there are people I know who have like more than 10,000, 15,000 followers, but their post have just like 10 likes, 15 likes, max 100 likes. So that plays a major role. Now, I know for my content, if I'm posting a picture of myself, I'll get minimum 2,000 likes for sure. And I know if I'm posting something about mental health, I'll struggle to even reach a 70. Because that's not everyone's thing and no one wants to accept it. So I'm kind of very blunt with that. So that I know that kind of content will not get a lot of likes or follows. And when I put up a DIY, I know, all right, fine. If I'm having 2,000 followers, my reels do hit that view. So that brings in a lot of genuine aspect to it. You'll find, in fact, a lot of food bloggers doing this. Because there's a lot of competition there, and I've seen a lot of influencers do it. But the real check comes when it comes to engagement.
So have you been approached by any marketer?
Yes, a lot of times. And I'm so tired of telling them, listen, I'm not interested in this. Please back off. And I'll end up blocking these accounts. I don't want them approaching me again because they literally spam my inbox. And I'm like, listen, if I wanted followers, I could have done a lot of things on my Instagram page to get some really massive following. But I know only the cream people will stay back on my page and the rest who just come for plain entertainment are going to leave. I don't want people looking for a lot of entertainment of me on my page.
And you don't want to get into that advertising loop where they're giving you money to advertise something? Or...
I, in fact, have been approached by brands, quite upcoming brands. I would not say really well-established brands, but if I don't use the product, I will not post about it. So I have posted earlier about products which I have bought myself. Okay. And they were not sponsored to me. And I genuinely liked them a lot.
Right.
So I have put forward their post, or if it's a service, I've gone live with those people because I'm so genuinely impressed with the work that they were doing that, I really wanted others to see it. So yeah, that's how I totally believe in whatever I'm using. I want to put it forward, not some sponsored post.
Right. And that's integrity of an Instagram influencer. I would call it integrity.
Yeah.
And Harshita, what is the addictive element in Instagram that one often reads about and hears about? Is there something like that? Have you seen young people who get addicted to it? How addictive can it be?
A recent study that I was reading about stress relieving activities in today's generation. Because I wanted to write a research paper about Instagram being a stress relieving factor. And I landed up noticing people around me when I was in Hyderabad.
Okay.
People, the moment they get time to, do something else apart from their work, I see them scrolling down Instagram.
Right.
Now, what has happened is this is called mindless scrolling. And for some reason, it has become so addictive. You cannot stay away from it. It's because person might not be reading what the post is all about. They'll be just mindlessly scrolling. And that is a stress buster activity for many.
It's a validation.
Yeah. And I was just showing, I kind of got addicted to it in between. The hilarious part was my mom and I were sitting and, seeing the old albums. And unknowingly, I automatically went and double tapped on it. And I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? It kind of,
right.
My mom just looked at me. What was that? I'm like, Mommy, I'm glad you're not on social media right now. So unknowingly, it's all, even on Facebook, people just land up double tapping pictures instead of liking it.
Yeah.
So it has got addictive, as good as how PUBG had got addictive. Thanks to TikTok and then Reels on Instagram, it has got even more addictive. The most addictive part of it, actually, if I have to see, apart from the mindless scrolling, is the attention that everyone gets.
Yes.
So earlier we used to say kids are doing something to get attention. And now it's all happening on Instagram to get attention.
to get attention.
So
But
factor is this.
sorry, I interrupted you, Harshita.
Go ahead.
All right. I want to know whether you notice a difference in how the younger generation posts today, because one does hear that they want to be more realistic. They don't want to, for instance, Claricil. Claricil is not using ivory skin, beautiful, plain, unblemished skin anymore. They're trying to show a pimply skin because the next generation wants to be more real, more authentic. And the earlier one would use a lot of filters. Is that true? Have you seen that happen?
This is sheer hypocrisy.
Okay.
Because I experimented that on a lot of pages. People speak that we would want to see the natural person. We would want to see the real person. We would not want to see them in filters. But at the very same time, if I post a picture where I have nothing on my face, not even my kajal on my face, I'll get a DM saying, you look better with a little kajal. You look sick without it. And I'm like, listen, this is what I call hypocrisy. If influencers post that reel with one side filter on, at the other side with no filter, and they ask you to accept reality, there is a reason why.
Okay.
So this is sheer hypocrisy. I've also seen, the Gen Z, if you have to say, using filters. That is what Snapchat is for. They like it or they don't like it. I don't care. There are filters for them to use. They use those filters. I know that their way of clicking pictures have massively changed. It's more, what do you say? Their way of clicking pictures have actually changed. We at least prefer showing our whole faces. Their face will be half the face here, half some FX effect will be there on it. That's their style. That's their style. I'm not even ridiculing it. It's their style, their wish, how they like it. Every generation has its own, ideal signature feature. But yes, this is sheer hypocrisy. The way is as hypocritic as people said, we don't differentiate between dark-skinned people and light-skinned people. This is the same hypocrisy online. So yeah,
I love the way your generation talks now. I love the way a generation starts to speak. The tone changes when the next one comes along. I mean, this is how we spoke to our next generation.
That is one thing that's going to stay constant in all generations.
Promptly, I hear the same tone with my children also, because they are by now an age where they have younger ones come up, and it's the same tone that I have sometimes used. So it's nice. Life goes round a full circle.
It's a circle. It's going to come back to it.
But are you on TikTok also?
No.
Why not?
I downloaded TikTok. I am talking about 2019 when I joined my recent college. And all my students were like, ma'am, you're on Snapchat, you're on Instagram, how come you're not on TikTok?
Okay.
And I downloaded TikTok. I found myself wasting 3 hours of my day there. And that also thanks to one of my, I was just going through my settings and I was going through my screen time. And I realized I could have spent those 3 hours reading a book, doing some exercise, or doing something that added something to my personality. What is this? And TikTok had its own charm. It was good for a certain age. But at my age, where I'm looking forward to growing in my career, I'm looking forward to do so much more in life than sit on the screen. Right. So I felt it was not meant for me. I did not want to waste my time there. I wanted to channelize my energy somewhere else. I might as well make a more interactive PPT presentation for my class the next day than waste my time on TikTok.
That's true.
So yeah, priorities make a very big difference.
Priorities change, the target audience, and maybe also the skill. You have to have certain skills on certain platforms. For instance, TikTok, it will be a different skill set.
Yes.
Facebook is a different story. So I guess that's another factor. But there is, the social platforms like Instagram have brought around a huge change in how companies conduct their businesses. They're definitely a marketing force.
Definitely there is. Because TikTok had become so addictive that now the way reels are being addictive, TikTok was the main OG. So that was the main reason why these 30-second videos came in and people had become stars overnight.
Yeah.
So brands did want to encash it. Why would they not want to? Because the ultimate, the brand's motive is to get noticed in the eyes of people, have people endorse them, even if they're not celebrities. So it started off as, instead of celebrities, let's take influencers, because they felt influencers were more close to the audience and audience believed them to be more realistic. So that was the reason why brands started collaborating with them than the stars. So that's how it started there. But then it's got diluted as it went forward, as always.
Yes. And finally, Harshita, the relationship between mental health and Instagram, because one reads of some really, really horrific tales and stories about Instagram influencers ending up somewhere they never dreamt they would, or sometimes maybe projecting a life that does not exist, or going in for some kind of a physical, trying to change some attributes of the physical appearance. What is the relationship here between mental health? How likely is it to affect a person's mental health, and what are some factors, or how can you kind of ensure that doesn't happen? Anything for parents also?
Yeah, so I have seen at one point of time, I get really exhausted posting, and I feel if my cup of happiness is empty, I cannot post it further and let others get out of it. So there were days where I have burnt out. And if I have felt that, I've also seen influencers feel that. There were so many people, there's Akriti and there's Shaurya, there's so many other influencers who I follow, and they themselves have taken a break from Instagram for a while, and they say it is good. Because what happens is we are under constant pressure. At least I'm not, but a lot of people who want to be influencers and get verified, they are under a constant pressure to perform. They are under this constant rush. We see a final picture. We don't see the work that would have gone behind that picture. Maybe a 6-hour setup, maybe that 1-hour makeup that they would have paid for. Sometimes they don't even get that for free. They have to pay for it. The financial drain, the mental energy drain, a lot goes behind it. For me, if I'm posting a picture of even a book in my hand and I want the background to reflect an element of that book, it'll take me at least 15 minutes to edit it. And that editing can be exhausting at a point of time. So what we need to understand is, the moment we feel Instagram is work and it is not happy work, that means it's time to take a break.
Okay.
And we should understand there's a difference between being someone who people like or being someone that people would like. Why would you want to change yourself for people to like you? How much can you fake yourself? That's not possible for long run. And how much, I've seen Dharman videos where they've actually showed influencers fake up a life, but in reality, when you actually meet that influencer, it's a very different person.
Right.
So that does a difference.
But then why be on Instagram at all? Why be on Instagram? Just go off the social. I know some people
go off the social media. But what are they, behind their head, Taiji, there is that one thing running. If I become inactive, will I lose followers? Will the engagement go down? The stats that reflect when you have a public account, maybe a content creator or something, that kind of dampens our spirit. So either you become strong enough to know your border is this.
Okay.
And thanks to all the new sports stories that we're coming out, getting to hear via Olympics, we've all realized that there's a boundary we all need to set, and beyond that, you should not step.
Yes, that's
so true. It's okay to take that break, and people should normalize it. And if I'm normalizing it, I'll have 10 other people criticizing. You aren't posting, so we'll unfollow you. I'm like, okay, please go ahead. Because I'm not here craving for followers, but that's me. I'm not craving for followers, but people who are, I feel it's really, really pressurizing for them. They should know how to put their step forward.
My question, Harshita, is that if you don't have an account at all, for instance, you don't create one at all, what are you losing? does it happen with young people? Why not? Why have an account at all? Let's say. But there
First,
are advantages.
there are advantages, there are disadvantages. Now, remember, Taiji, when Facebook started off for our generation, it was such a new thing. And the moment you all had joined into the line, being tech savvy, and all of us, I know my friends who were looking out, we need an escape.
You ran from there.
And I'm like, it's okay to have them. What's wrong? They're like, see, Harshita, no one can be as Siddha Sada as you are. Okay, you only have your swimming pictures to put up. You only have your college pictures to put up. We have a lot more pictures to put up apart from that. Yes. I'm like, okay, I'm sorry, I don't belong to that group of people. But then Instagram initially started off with a very nice platform to share pictures. Turned out to be something else. Now it's more like the new generation Facebook, if I could clearly compare. Yes. But only thing to lose would be maybe a few pictures. Very healthy jealousy factor will be out of your life. And if you're not curious about people, let's not just be there.
Let's not stay on Instagram. Okay.
Just shut off that Instagram. You have nothing to lose. Okay, you really want something, then be so mentally strong enough to not be flown away or carried away by what's happening there.
No, but Harshita, there are companies today that are recruiting from social platforms.
Yeah. So see, now that is a thing. What's your main motive of joining Instagram? You want to become an influencer? Or do you want to become a blogger? Or do you just want to make a private profile and, just make it like a social networking thing for you? Or do you want to get to know more people? Do you want to have groups? Or do you want to just find out more content for yourself to, suppose I love books. I might be on Instagram to follow all these bookstagrammers. Yes. So bookstagrammers are those who keep talking about the new books that they're reading. So what's your motive of being there? You've got to be clear.
Depends on that.
If there's nothing, then please don't have an Instagram account. It's okay. There were days I have not opened my Instagram for a month. It's all right.
Nice. Okay.
I have not missed out on anything much. It's just those trending reels, which I don't even care of.
All right, Harshita. Thank you very much. And any words for my generation?
It's good to see you all on Instagram. Thankfully,
you don't say, why are you guys nipping at our heels? Why don't you stay in your lane?
I think a lot of because see, I don't have anything to hide, so I'm chill about it. But I know the new gen will. But I really appreciate one thing: the new generation is not being like us. We were hiding things from our parents half the time. The new generation has their parents on it. So parents are a part of the reels, so it's okay. I think the new generation would chill about it. But it's okay. I mean, it's good to know technology. It's always good to have a taste of every drink that is kept in front of you, so that no one fools you around and you're not lagging behind with the generation. Because ultimately, we all want to mingle with every generation that is there in a family. So this becomes like a talking point or an icebreaker for a lot of us.
And Harshita, this is becoming the real space. I mean, the digital space is becoming more real than the real space. And
it got real the moment got real the moment we had classes online.
Exactly. And a lot of young people say that they feel more authentic online than they do offline. So that's how it is. And therefore the need to connect.
But I see this will change the moment pandemic is going to go a little down the slope. Things will change because now people will start finding ways to actually connecting face to face. That skill is yet to be built. You're ultimately going to work in an office or you're going to work with people around you.
We'll wait and see, because there are a lot of office goers and bosses and CEOs and HR managers who are very happy to be at home and who don't want to go to office.
Taiji, that
be working from home.
I'm sorry, please continue.
No, that's it.
I was in fact the other day talking to my friends who were getting alliances for their wedding. And there was so we were just making fun of this whole fact. We started off with a social network called Hi-Fi when I was maybe in 8th standard. Then it went on to Orkut, and then it went on to Facebook, and now it's Instagram. And now we girls and guys come and ask, send me the LinkedIn profile because we are not interested in what's on Facebook and Instagram. Leave that for mommies and papas to go. Send me the LinkedIn link now.
LinkedIn link, the most credible.
The most credible one is LinkedIn.
Yes, absolutely.
So yeah.
Thank you, Harshita. Wonderful to discuss Instagram with you. Continue to be sensibly disruptive, sustainably disruptive.
Thank you so much for having me over, Taiji. It was great. In fact,
yes.
It's good to have a different generation talking to me about it.
Absolutely. Same here. Thank you very much, people watching. And I'll be back next week. And this time, the Seenager is going to touch the hot potato of reading, the business of reading. What are the generational differences in reading? There's a feeling that the young generation doesn't read anymore. I think otherwise, but we'll talk about that. I'll have a special guest next week. See you all. Goodbye, Harshita. Take care. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you, Seenager, signing off.